Otakuans, what's going on? It's Tuesday.
It's Sunday.
So, sorry, it's
It's
Sunday.
Sunday.
It's Sunday.
No, it's definitely it's definitely
Totally,
Sunday.
totally Sunday. Anyways, what's going on, everybody?
What's up? What's up? What's
Um,
up?
so today we want to talk about what is an isekai, right? I'm glad you asked. So, what we're gonna talk about pretty much what is an isekai. As you guys know, like me, David, and I, we're big into the isekai genre. We love fucking isekais. I love isekais. He loves them as well. There are many styles of isekais, many different forms of isekais. We're probably about to argue about what the definition of an isekai is, um, but well, we kind of want to run down what an isekai essentially is because there is a lot of hate out there about isekais. I know quite a few people who don't like isekai animes, and I guess because there's a trope, right? There's a trope with certain isekais. There's a trope with certain characters. But we're gonna kind of run down like what an isekai is, the styles, the definition, our favorite style, and just kind of mix and match. Give some suggestions about isekai. Now, because I know we're going to argue about it. The
You
the
know, right?
definition the definition of the word isekai is otherworld. We agree about that.
Yep,
We
exactly.
agree. We agree. Otherworld. However, my opinion from the definitions and from what I've seen online, right? But I still think it's fact. My opinions are facts. Uh, but is a character. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just read it verbatim. So there's no confusion. It is a speculative fiction. Both portal fantasy and science fiction are included. It includes novels, light novels, films, manga, anime, and video games that revolve around a displaced person or people who are transported to and have to survive in another world, such as fantasy world, virtual world, and parallel universe. That is the definition I believe
That's a
in
long
because that is
definition.
that is the definition of that is now the word itself isekai. I'm with you, right? I'm with you. The
That is a
word itself,
synopsis. That is not a
right?
definition, bro.
The word isekai itself, I'm with you. It means different world, other world.
Mm.
Got it. I believe that a virtual world, for example, Sword Art Online, I believe that at least the first season is considered an isekai
I'm
because
sorry. Say it
they
one more
are.
time.
You heard me. The first season of Sword Art Online, I believe isekais can stop, and I'll explain why.
I believe
I believe why,
isekais can stop.
and I'll explain why. I'll
Okay.
explain why. The definition is they are trapped, they are displaced, which is taken without your will. Now there's two types of isekai, and we'll get into the styles, but they're either reincarnated or transported into another world,
Mm.
right? I'm sure we agree upon that, right? Um, but they are trapped and have to survive in that world. Now, Sword Art Online is a virtual world, right? I believe the virtual world is another world, especially if your consciousness, your being, not flesh and body, it doesn't have to be your flesh and bones body, because even being reincarnated, you get put into pretty much a different body, anyways.
Mm.
But your consciousness is transported into a virtual world or another place where you could die, you could get hurt, you'll feel the pain, whatever it is, whether they have nerve gear on or not.
Yeah.
If their consciousness is transported and you're trapped and you have to survive, I believe the virtual world is considered, an isekai in itself.
Another world.
Now after the first season, because the whole nerve gear, Akihika Kayaba shit was kind of over, even though he kind of popped up here and there throughout the seasons. They were no longer trapped. Besides Asuna being trapped like as like an elf or whatever the fuck fairy thing it was,
Mm.
um,
So
I
she was
think
an
it stopped.
isekai.
I think it stopped being an isekai
Okay.
because they could go in and out. I don't think if somebody can go to another world
Mm.
and come back and forth, I do not think that's considered an isekai. The word itself, get it, other world. That is literally the word. But the definition that I believe in is that they are trapped and have to survive. And if you can go back and forth, I don't think that's an isekai.
You the problem with the definition that you gave I guess the solution with the definition you gave is it tried to cover so many different bases, but you're still going to find that one anime that one considers an isekai but doesn't fit into their parameters. So, and that's why what I don't like about the whole the isekai genre should just be in another world, because I do believe what a isekai is another world, but I consider things such as fantasy animes to be an isekai as well. If the anime itself, the whole world of the anime is not the normal world, I consider that to be an isekai.
So let me ask you a question then. Do you believe that is it wrong to pick up a girl in a dungeon? Is that considered an isekai to you?
To me, yes, I'd consider it.
Because I see where you're going with that, right? But I see any anime, their world is a different world than mine. Like, I wouldn't consider Chainsaw Man an isekai, but they're in a world with demons and fucking stuff like that. I wouldn't consider Bleach an isekai. I wouldn't consider Naruto an isekai.
All of those
they're in
are
another
based
world than
off
mine.
Of the regular real world, though. Like, say for example, Chainsaw Man. It's still the regular world, just they have demons that they're fighting in this regular real world. JJK, still the regular world, but now they're fighting things in this world behind the scenes, unbeknownst to the regular people like me and you. But Danmachi,
Attack on Titan,
regular world, but they're dealing with Titans. They still recognize the world as the world. They still talk about actual countries of the world, but being in a different place. Like, look at Danmachi. They don't talk about Europe. They don't talk about Japan. This is their own world. They have dungeons, all the monsters. Yeah. This is completely different. Isekais have definitely evolved over time. Like, back in today, when you think of an isekai, you think of male main character. He dies, hit by a truck most of the time. He gets hit by a truck. Goes into a different world. He creates a harem of ladies. He's OP. That's what we consider an isekai. But back in the days, in the 90s, what did we consider an isekai? Shit like Inuyasha is an isekai, where Kagome goes into another world, but she sees what's going on in the world. Like, it's supposed to be old day, or what's it called, Edo, Japan, something like that. Japan. Like, it's in the past, but that's an isekai still. Like, I have multiple, like Fushigi Yugi, another isekai where a female lead moves into the past. They don't receive powers. They don't create a harem. They just move into a fantasy world where it's the real world, but it's not where they're from. But now we've turned into they have to die or be reincarnated.
Like,
SAO is like the modern day godfather of isekais. When it comes to what isekais are today, SAO is literally the blueprint. And the blueprint has just been changed to the different sub-genres of the isekai genre.
I just think my personal opinion is I think it has to have an example, or it has to have a definition, not just a word, because other world can mean literally fucking anything. And I think and it might be the modern twist on it, but this is the definition I believe in. If you're trapped, or you're taken, or you die and get reincarnated, and you're trapped there and you have to survive and you cannot go back and forth, I just think that's an isekai. I feel like if you're going back and forth, you're not isekai'd. I think that's the whole term that people are using now, right? And especially even in the damn shows, the character will say it himself, right? He'll be like, "Damn, I was isekai'd," which means I was taken. I got killed, and I'm here.
Oh, no.
Right?
That reminds me. We got to go back to your whole, it can start off as an isekai. The prime example is saving 80,000 gold for my retirement in another world. It is a isekai. I don't feel that a show that is in the genre of isekai can eventually leave just because they have the ability. Because most of the time in isekais, the main character, their whole point is to try to get back to their world. And in a lot of isekais, they figure out a way, but they decide to stay, or they stay in the world, and then later on they finally go back. Does the title itself stop being an isekai just because the plot changed?
So thinking about it, let me revise my statement a little bit to make a little bit more sense, right? I feel like if you were displaced in the first place, I'll consider that an isekai, even if at some point you can go back and forth. So 80,000 gold. She was displaced at first, right? She was taken. She didn't have a say in it. She was just transported to another world. I'll consider that an isekai because in my definition it says displaced and have to survive. And even though she did, like the first episode, she figured out how to get back. If she goes over there and she gets into a brawl or something, like, she has to survive. I mean, like, she's in another world, she can fucking die. SAO, only reason why I'm saying that because it was a full season. It was a full season where everybody was trapped. And then after that, every other season after that, they were able to.
Choice though. They chose to put the headgear on.
Yeah, but they also didn't know that they were going to be trapped there.
True.
So, and that's another part of my definition is displaced and have to survive while being trapped. You know what I'm saying?
I'll give that. You haven't watched Made in the Abyss yet.
A little bit.
But it's essentially about these kids who go into the abyss and they can't go back out. Like, they chose to go in, but they literally can't. They'll die if they leave. So they have to go into this fantasy world. I consider that to be an isekai. Because, yes, they're leaving where they're from, and they're going to a place where they can't leave, but it's a completely different world from where they're coming from.
Yeah. Those are our definitions of isekais. Understandable. Everybody's gonna have their own definition of what an isekai is, but I think we can all agree that if you fucking die and you go to another world, you're isekai.
Yeah, I mean that's the easiest one.
That's the easiest fucking definition on the planet. If you believe SAO is a fucking isekai or you don't, it is what it is. You can tell us in the comments. Apparently, we're always wrong anyway. So go on our TikTok and watch and see that comment. Anyway, so going over styles. So there's certain styles of isekais out there. There's all kinds of styles. I know one of them you don't like for it to be its own genre, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Even though most isekais are this genre, so obviously you have transition and reincarnated. You have magic, which again most isekais have magic in it, but I feel like there are some isekais that don't have magic in it. And I can give some examples here in a minute. But you got magic, mech. You got slice of life isekai, action isekai, dark, video game, harem, fantasy, and political. Those are only some. I know you can mix and match. They're all over the place. These are just some of the types of styles of isekais out there. Now, again, you mix and match those, right? Like I would say The Eminence and Shadow, which go check out that video. It should be up already. The Eminence and Shadow would be like a dark action, dark magic anime, because that shit's dark. Like, people be getting their heads sliced off and like blood is flying fucking everywhere, you know, but it also has magic and it's also, you know, actiony. But you know, our favorite are the harem style.
Hey, don't be throwing me in that barrel with you, bro. It's not my favorite. I like other stuff. I'm not mad at it,
but I mean, you also have like, so No Game No Life is probably one of my top, I'd say top 5 isekais. And the only reason why I'm saying No Game No Life is because I've never watched an anime that has almost zero, and I mean zero, action in it that actually captured my attention. Zero action. I'm a simple man. Leonard Skinner, right? If there's action in it, there's blood, and the fighting is not too linear, I'm all for the anime. Love it, right? But No Game No Life was just about playing games. Him and his sister playing games, board games, card games, anything, and they were winning kingdoms from that shit. Like, they were like, hey, I don't want to fight you guys. How about we play a board game instead? How about we play chess? And whoever wins gets your kingdom, right? Yeah. But the way they went about it, and I consider that a slice of life anime. Like, I consider that a slice of life. There's no action, but I also consider it political because there's a lot of moving pieces with like them trying to control and win the world to play. The whole goal is to play God. So like the god of the world is said, if you beat all of these kingdoms in this game, then you get to play me, and then you can go back at your will to your world or whatever, right? So that's their whole goal.
More of like a battle royale. That's definitely a genre that I would consider, because a lot of battle royale type where you have to be the ultimate winner of this battle royale
tournament or whatever,
to essentially receive. Well, tournament battle royale.
But there's no fight. There's no fighting though, and that's what I love. I hated about it, but I couldn't even start after the first couple minutes of the show. I stopped hating it. I was just like, oh, this is actually pretty funny.
Yeah,
this shit is hilarious.
It's hilarious as fuck.
I was like, this shit is hilarious.
I know you don't necessarily like the slice of life, but when it comes to like card games, gambling, stuff like that, are you cool with that?
No, and see, that's another thing. Like Kakugure, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like these gambling. Like, I watch it, and here's the thing. This is the reason why I love my favorite style of anime is adventure isekais. That is hands down will always be my favorite style of anime. The only reason why is because a majority of the world of people who watch cinematic movies, shows, even play video games, the reason why we do it, the reason why they do it is to escape the world that they're in, right? Now, there's certain reasons to watch certain animes. Like if somebody really likes gambling or somebody really likes, like the whole like murder mystery genre, like understandable, right? Like Boku no Stray Dogs is murder mystery, right? Like, I mean, it has a little bit of, craziness in it, but it's more murder mystery, detective PI kind of shit, right? The reason why I watch anime and the reason why I play video games and I love all these pop culture things is because I'm escaping my world. So if I am sitting on my couch and I'm watching an anime that's about the real world, just some weirdos fucking gambling out of school, like I'm just like it's boring to me.
Who's doing that? What real world school is gambling?
Even if it's not
their
like
level in society, like
even if it's not real, even if it's not like realistic, if it's stuck in the same world and there's no powers and like everybody's like sports animes, right? Like I get it, they flare up.
I get you now. All right, because I definitely don't like sports.
They flare up. They flare up. Obviously, them hitting the ball or kicking the ball. Like they have their normal anime running and shit like that. But like, if I'm watching something that could realistically happen in the real world, and like I'm just like whatever, I don't care. That's what I have normal TV shows for. Like that's what I watch. I mean, granted, I watch like The Walking Dead and some other shit, but like that's what I'm watching. Better Call Saul right now. It's literally about a dude who represents fucking mobsters, and he's a lawyer, and it's hilarious, and it has something to do with Breaking Bad. That's besides the point.
To be fair, you do like war animes.
I like what?
Like war animes.
True, but those war animes are either mech style, or they're very steampunk-esque. So like the Northern War. I'm not going to get over the thing, but in the beginning, I'm not going to start. I'm not going to get. You're not going to know. No, there's like 5 other fucking episodes, and I've looked at them and I've skimmed through them, and it had nothing to do with the first episode, and I fucking am upset. But anyways, most of them are mech style animes, which realistically, like, yeah, maybe 100 years or 200 years from now we could have that technology, but this is transitioning you into another type of world. Or fucking the Northern War one, the Territory of Northern War, they had like these rifles, and then they had these swords, and it had like the steam with it, and like they were doing this crazy. It was still very actiony. Hell, fucking Nier Automata, right? That's a war style anime about robots taking over, and fucking 3,000 years in the future, humans are still trying to fight for their right to fucking party, right? So like, but that could realistically happen, but not anytime fucking soon. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
So when it comes down to like No Game No Life, I consider that a slice of life, but at the same time, like it's still another world. It's still funny. It's still great, like awesome, right? It still has like the cool aspects to it. But anything that's like and that's why Isekai adventure animes are like my favorite style. Any adventure guild type anime that has really good action to it, I love. And it actually disappoints me whenever there's an adventure guild anime that I find boring. Handyman Saito.
We not about to throw shots because we can go back a few minutes. Handyman Saito is have you not been continuing it?
I told you I was gonna wait.
Oh, you're gonna let it build up? Okay, you know what?
Because but I might not because I don't know. It just didn't sit right with me. And
where it is now,
this isn't the same feeling. Better. This isn't the same feeling I was having with Eminence and Shadow, reincarnated as a slime. This is just more like
it's not
like I told you. It was just like, okay, cool. He's a fucking handy. Hell, I build houses. I'm a fucking handyman. Congratulations. Like, cool. You picked a lock. Cool. Your girl, this big girl with the armor likes you. I'd fucking hit that. Like, get on it, kid. Come on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
don't simplify Saito like that.
it was more like a it was more like day-to-day life kind of thing. There was nothing. There wasn't, like I said, a serious plot. And I'm not trying to get into I don't want to break down this whole anime in itself, but
Mm-hmm.
I would say I'm definitely the style. My favorite style of specific isekais would have to be like the mech action, like mech dark action. Now the magic is in most, right? So there's a show called Knights and Magic, right? It's literally called Knights and Magic. It's it's an isekai, right? And the dude ends up dying. He's really into mechs. Like what he is, he's like a nerd, and he creates like, say you worked at a Gundam factory, or you were the creator of the Gundam models, right? You created the models and you sold them to toy stores, right? You were a fucking diehard Gundam fan because you created them, you love mechs so much, then you die, go to a world, and now there's mechs. But these mechs, they use magic swords, they use magic fucking wands, there's mechs with guns, and like you have magic yourself, but then you also power your mech with magic, and then you fucking go around. I thought that might be cringy to some people, and I thought at first that's kind of trying to mix the pot. That's trying to make a gulag of things.
Mm-hmm.
But when I started watching the show, I was like, this shit's actually pretty cool. And anything like mech style, or mech style magic actiony anime, or like adventure style isekais are always going to be my favorite. Every single one of them. Now this isn't an adventure guild one, but I like anything with mechs in it. You know me, so like anything with mechs in it is probably my favorite. When 2B came out of her mech and fucking Near Automata, I was like, so 2B is her, man.
What'd you do again?
Yo, 2B, bro, 2B is.
Yo,
See if the wife can cosplay. Anyways,
no, when it comes to like my favorite types of isekais, like when it comes to like the subgenres, I think I'm definitely with you. I do love like the adventure. I love adventure, like because adventure, not even strictly looking at like the guilds. Adventure animes allow the anime to really flex when it comes to the world building, the beauty of their animation and beauty of the scenery. They can flex those things in those type of adventure animes. Because of course, if you watch it in an anime like Kakegurui, there's not much world building. There's not like you're just seeing the same thing over and over again. So being able to watch the main character.
School.
Exactly. Being able to watch the main character move from this town, moving through this valley, then moving on to the next town. I love to see that happen. And then adding on the whole adventure guild, moving up. And it's always so weird because you want to see like the main character become like the highest rank,
like S rank,
guild, but they never do. And you're like, oh, okay, I guess you're never going to make it past silver. Cool, whatever.
Well, that's kind of lead into the trope thing, right? And I think a lot of people, the reason why they don't like isekais is because of the tropes. The standard isekai trope, which one, you got the characters OP as fuck off the bat.
I love it.
Like, or they just randomly find this power. Like, I guess, and like I said, I wouldn't consider this an isekai, but like, my defense is just a perfect example. Is like I maxed out my defense because I didn't want to get hurt. She just accidentally walks into a boss room, eats the boss, and then becomes like OP again. You know what I'm saying? And so I think one of the biggest tropes with these isekais is that it's all. A lot of people think it's all the same. Now we don't care. I don't give a shit.
I like that part.
I don't care, right? But and I think one of the biggest, a big trope is with the character in the Adventure Guild is that they're super strong and they become an E rank, F rank, D rank, C rank adventurer, but then we never really see them. But you also have to imagine and think about it that most of these brand new style of like isekais that we've been watching haven't been out for too long, and it's been on the same path. Like hell, I think the longest one I can think about right now that's still going on, or like one of the best ones, I guess for you, for adventure style, not necessarily isekai, but just adventure style, would be Danmachi, right? Is it wrong to pick Girl in Dungeon?
Danmachi.
But at the same time, okay, that's how you feel. But at the same time, like he got his ranks right. And then, but in the last 2 seasons, we've been stuck in the dungeon. Like, we're fighting for our lives right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, they're taking these specific moments and stretching them. So a lot of our animes that are Isekai Adventure Guild, they haven't really gotten too far. They haven't really done much
They're still
to
in like
like,
the early volumes if they have like a
yeah,
novel or in their manga.
it's like reincarnated as a sword, right? Technically, the girl wasn't Isekai, the sword was,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess they continue, like they get their rank together. But I mean, she got 2 levels, but we only have 1 season. You know what I'm saying? But she leveled up super fast. It's like, and I've noticed this, and it's really funny. Whenever you have the broken Isekai character in an adventure guild, they always rank up 2 ranks really fast, and then they just stop. Like they don't go any higher than that, which I don't know. I find funny, but
That's true.
I think a lot of the tropes come from them either not wanting to or just not really trying to show their ass. They're just trying to do their own thing. You know what I'm saying? They're not trying to.
Mm.
Most of the people that you ever see that are A rank or S rank adventurers are always those big, flamboyant. I'm the hero. Praise me kind of people, and I think they just don't want to be that type of person, except for Shadow. But you know,
He does it right. And
that's not the
no,
point.
to really hammer down that point, people don't like that the isekai genre is so overly saturated. And I agree. Every season they're pushing out 5, 10, 15 different isekais. Now,
Yeah.
personally, I love that. That's 10 more isekais that I get to watch to see if I like it. And
Mm-hmm.
every once in a while, very very few and far between, I can admit that there are a lot of bad isekais out there.
Mm-hmm.
But every once in a while, you get a gem. You get
Mm-hmm.
reincarnated as a slime. You get eminence and shadow. You're going to find those gems in rock because. So again, this is all I did a lot of research on how they actually create these different animes that we're constantly seeing every season. They have a website. It's like a Japanese self-author website in Japan where anybody can go on
I heard about this. Yeah.
and create their own stories, write their own series, and people get to read it completely free. And every once in a while, it actually happens quite a lot where they get recognized from this site and they actually adapt it and they publish it and then they maybe down the road they adapt it into an anime. So we're
Yeah.
seeing things that people have already said they like. And the
Yeah.
biggest things with this site, it became so overly saturated with the isekais where the people who created the site actually had to tell people that, hey, if you're trying to make a story about a young man who dies or is reincarnated or transferred to a new world, don't even bother. Not even allowed to
Yeah.
do it. There's so many different different public publications.
Publications.
Yeah, people who publish, people
Yeah.
who do the publishing. There's so many of them who don't even want to hear anything about a kid was he died or transferred to another world. They don't even want to hear it anymore. Like we got enough of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
they got plenty. I definitely heard about the site and everything like that, and I think they have so much in their lineup, like in the shoot right now,
mm-hmm.
to like make an anime that they just don't want to deal with that shit anymore.
Things are being
Um,
dropped. Like if you really like look into different manga news, they're dropping a lot of titles at the cyclic rate. Like something may have gone and did maybe a few months run, a few weeks run, and if people aren't picking it up or people aren't receiving it well from the very jump, they're dropping it, and they're doing that with a lot of isekais because they're tired of seeing it. Even though we love
that's
it,
one
they're
thing.
tired of it.
That's one thing. That's one thing that because I'm the anime guy, right? Like I don't really read manga like that, but when they start adapting things into anime, that's one thing I don't like about isekais or the adventure style guild animes is not them themselves, but the creators and the animators because they'll do the 1 season drop off. They'll do the 1 season, go to the next show.
Mm.
1 season, go to the next show, and there's a lot of 1 seasoners out there that I would have loved to get a second season instead of a new show. You know what I'm saying? And that's so heavy that there's so many animes out there that I've watched 1 season of and I'm like, this is a fucking fantastic show.
Mm.
And then I just never get to see it ever again
It's the
because
same
they just dropped
concept.
it.
If it doesn't get the type of feedback that they're looking for, they're not
Yeah.
going to bother with the second season. unless the feedback is like great, like Eminence and Shadow. The feedback was amazing. Definitely the later episodes. People loved it so much that by the season finale, they've already announced, yeah, we're definitely having a second season. But if people don't love it that much, we may get a second season in a few years. But if it's popular enough, you see shit like they'll have a second season the next season or the season after that type shit. Like, who's making this decision? Because there's so many titles where I want a fucking second season. And so this is like for everyday anime. And now when you look at isekais where it's so overpopulated, they're looked at even worse. Even worse than a regular anime.
Because it's the same everywhere.
We have that. We're good on that. So for a show to isekai to get so much recognition that they're quickly jumping on another season, I think that's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's pretty good. I think it definitely takes a long time. I think it definitely takes a long time from publication to animation, especially to make it this good, especially like Eminence and Shadow. I think it definitely takes a long time, and you can tell, especially with isekais and adventure go animes, you can tell when they just slap a season together. When they just slap something together and they just like call it a show, just like that one that I fucking hate, which I guess is not it wouldn't be considered an isekai, but you can tell when they slap isekais together. It's just, it doesn't work. It doesn't make any sense. You're just like, okay, this is fucking dumb. Like, I don't understand what's going on here. You know what I'm saying? Let me ask you, how do you feel about harem anime or harem isekais? Because that's a big trope that people do not like. That's a big trope. Now, me personally, before you get into it, I am okay with it as long as it's not, because there's harem adventure animes and there's harem adventure isekai animes, which to you, anything in a different world is an isekai. Get it? Understand? But like, say the one that I really like, again, like the one that I really fucking hate, where it was just like those young girls with the guy who was training them. He was taking them out, and then they were getting SA'd by monsters, and then coming back and then going back out and getting SA'd again, and it's just like, but he's forming this group now. Talk about Harem in a Labyrinth of Another World. I find that show to be fantastic. Now, it's very, very ecchi, very. However, it's not, I don't think it's cringy ecchi, because he got his girl. Now, granted, he does have like his harem at the end of it, which I think they'll get into it later, how he kept getting different girls. But he had his first girl, and just like anybody's relationship, I mean, being married, having a girlfriend, when you're done with work, you go home, they have sex, and then they go to bed, and then they wake up, they go work, they come home, they have sex, they go to bed. I mean, that's normal to me, right? Even though in the uncensored version you see all this, you see everything, but that's, I mean, it's Japan. I mean, absolutely. I don't want all this shit popping. Yeah, it does that like error shit all over the screen whenever you're trying to watch a show.
Got him, boys.
Take my picture.
I think when it comes to harem animes, they can be done well and they can be done terribly. Like when it comes to harem animes, I expect there be a lot of cringe moments, but those moments can be done well. Like, for example, Harem in a Labyrinth. Yes, there were cringe moments. You're like, what's about to happen? Oh, yeah. Okay. It felt more realistic, or
that's a realistic.
I guess that's a good word to use. It felt more realistic, but then
because he's just going home having sex with his girl, and then that's it. Like,
but then when you looked at shows like the one you hate, where you got this people, they're basically just being essayed for no reason. Like, it doesn't even make sense why this is happening.
Again, like, slapped together,
done terribly. There's another. This is just a simple harem anime where I don't know. Here's a question for you. I will have to look up the exact name of it. But these guys, essentially, the world has this disease that kills most of the population of men. I'm pretty sure you probably saw this. Well, in the future, some men who were put under sleep, they were woken up to essentially repopulate the world.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, I would have to look at it, and I'll be able to quickly find it. I'm pretty sure you watched it. Would you consider that, just from that synopsis, would you consider that a isekai?
So guys are frozen, and they're just woken up in the future?
Yep, it's completely different world though. It's not the same as the world they left.
I don't think so.
They can't
Only
go back.
because I mean, but I get they're in the same exact world.
Mm.
They're just frozen and then they're just woken up in the future. I wouldn't consider Demolition Man an isekai.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like he was just frozen in cryo
But them
and then
being on
woke
a
up.
hard drive in our world, you consider that as a
Yeah, because they're transported to a different surrounding, a different world. Granted, before surrounding, they're still on the same planet, just a different time period.
yeah.
But at the same time, their body and their consciousness is taken there. Like Tokyo Revengers, right?
I was about to say it. Tokyo Revengers.
Tokyo Revengers, his consciousness is transported back in time, right? His consciousness is transported back in time. His body is left in the past, just like SA or SAO. They're transported back in. His body's still there, but his consciousness went back in time, went to another world, so on and so forth. With these men who their bodies and their minds were frozen, they were just held into the world until like the future, and then so on and so forth. Okay. Like right now, if I could time travel, and I fucking just my whole everything myself, I just poof, and I went back in time. I don't think that'd be technically an isekai. I wouldn't isekai'd myself. I just time traveled like the guys in Frozen and Cryo, just kind of time traveled.
How about Inuyasha then?
But she didn't she went to another. I haven't watched Inuyasha in fucking years, bro.
So Kagome, she essentially finds this whale that she's able to transport to old Japan.
Yeah, Edo Japan.
And then she learns that she's able to go back and forth between Edo Japan and current Japan. But it's highly considered to be an isekai.
I've seen that it is. I've seen that it is considered an isekai. It's on almost every isekai list because I look up isekais to find like hidden gems from like back in the day or like at least the last few seasons. Mm-hmm. I don't know because like yeah, she's transported to a completely like not different world, but like in the past, but she's like trapped there for a while. Time travel is very hard to explain if it's an isekai or not, especially time travel. Because there's so much more with it. Like if your whole body and your mind goes and you're just there, granted you can't go back because you were like say frozen. If your consciousness goes back, like if fuck I forgot his name, but in Tokyo Revengers, if he shakes that kid's hand again, like he goes back to his time. But if he doesn't, he can still fucking die. He can still get hurt. You know what I'm saying? With her, she transported and she's in the well, and then that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like until she figures out that she can go back, but she is trapped in another time period, and she could get hurt. She can die. She's trapped. But I wouldn't call it displaced. Like transported, or I mean, it'd be transported or reincarnated. You know what I'm saying? And I guess that kind of just goes on to the fact of what our modern definition of what an isekai is. Because I guess if I have to be consistent, I'd rather say that time travel is not an isekai, and then I would just have to say that Tokyo Revengers isn't an isekai, even though his consciousness is going back. But to be consistent, I don't think generally time travel is considered isekai. So if you're in the same place,
that Inuyasha is not isekai.
So technically, no. I
see those landmines?
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying. If I need to be consistent, right? If I need to be consistent and not pick and choose, I will now stick with the fact that I don't think time travel is considered isekai.
Got you. But no, the anime's name was Worlds in Harem. Worlds in Harem. I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure I think I've watched a few episodes of that.
Yeah, it was decent. It was a decent harem anime. But anyway, the whole point of it was in that anime, the boys had to sleep with women to essentially repopulate the earth.
Yeah.
That's an example of they had a good reasoning, but the cringe factor of it kind of made it like I don't know, like yeah, I said it was a good anime because I know for you would like it, but it wasn't the best anime because it seemed that the plot was forced or the sexual scenes were forced. It just wasn't as natural, say as the what's it, the dungeon one?
Harem in the Labyrinth. Yeah.
Yeah, Harem in the Labyrinth. So, another example. One of our favorites, our favorite ones, the Opie Dragon himself. That's another anime where High School DxD, where yes, it was cringy, super cringy, but it was done well. Yeah. It was done well. We can actually look at those relationships and be
was he Isekai?
No, he wasn't Isekai.
No, he wasn't, right? Okay. It's been a while since I've watched High School DxD, so I was like, wait, was he?
He went to another world. But no, he wasn't Isekai. But it was done well because we can actually relate to, he was in love with this girl. And yeah, it was a harem anime. There were other girls who were in love with him too. But he was in love with this girl right here. Even at the end of the series, that they end up getting married and whatnot, and create his whole harem, and other ones join along too. It was done well. That's why we love this type of harem anime. I just think, to answer your question, I like harem animes when they're done well, but it's so many times they're done so too cringy, too forced, where I have to be like, okay, is this going to be a good one, or is this going to be a bad one? You know what I mean?
So, to sum it up, your favorite style of isekai is the adventure guild type, correct?
Yeah. I like
or what your favorite your adventure guild? So what would be your favorite adventure guild?
More on adventure guild. I like of course the adventure. I like the world building. I think that's just great for the story overall. But I like the type of adventure guild ones where they're like in a video game-esque, where they have stats that they can raise, their levels can rise, they can learn new skills and those type of things.
So I guess there's a difference then.
Yes.
There's a difference between adventure style and adventure guild. Because you can have an adventure style anime but not necessarily be a part of a guild.
Yeah, there's definitely there's a difference between adventure guild.
Yeah.
When it comes to those sub-genres like you mentioned before, for a lot of the isekais, they have multiple subgenres. Where you can have a strictly adventure slice of life, or you can have a adventure guild, or you can even have a guild slice of life. They have those too, where they do have an adventure guild, like Chilling in My 30s, but it's still a slice of life. It's more about the everyday life. Yeah, there are some fight scenes, but it's overall a slice of life anime. So
right now, what would be your favorite isekai? Right now. And it could be recent because we've probably watched a lot.
I have favorites. I don't have a number one favorite.
Well, give me top two. Give me top two. Top three.
Dang. I'm not going to use the easy ones. I'm not going to use Slime, Overlord, stuff like that. Of the more recent isekais that I thought were really well, outside of Eminence and Shadow, I like Reincarnated as a Sword. It's, again, they do have world building. They create. You understand the different tribes of the different species that live there, and of course she raised her level, learned new skills and whatnot. And also, so I'm a spider. So what? That's what I try to get you to watch. But it's another one where she is a creature, a monster in the dungeon. She was isekai into the dungeon as a monster, and she builds her level up, learns different skills, and actually gets to choose how she evolves, like her evolution line as she moves up into the higher tier of monster. And I think that's one that was done really, really well. So well that I watched the first season. I started reading the manga. I liked the manga so much, and I finished where the manga was. I went to read the light novel from the beginning all the way to the end. That's how much I love that one. So, Reincarnated as a Sword, and I'm a Spider, so what? Those are my two favorites.
So, I'm gonna put Reincarnated as a Sword. If we're getting rid of the easy ones, I'll put Reincarnated as a Sword as well, because I think that's fucking hilarious. I think it's fantastically written. I think it has enough action in it to just make the show really pop out. So for top three, I guess. But then my next one is probably gonna be Ari Futera. I think that's what really got me, not adventure style, but like what got me into adventure style animes is what you think is an isekai. That's Danmachi, right? Is it wrong? That's my favorite adventure guild anime of all times. Like, because they have families, familias, right? But they have ranks and levels, so it's adventure guild-esque.
Yeah.
Or dungeon, right? Dungeon adventurers. but it would have to be Ari Futera. I think being like mech magic style, that was probably what Ari Futera, I think, is what really got me into isekai anime in the first place. What not that I hadn't watched it before, but really made me like isekai anime is Ari Futera. Just when the whole class gets transported and he gets fucked over and he ends up surviving in the dungeon by himself, eating monsters, fucking, just trying to survive, and he comes out a fucking total badass, right?
I think I like more the main character than the actual story. I feel like if I really try to think about the story, I just think about the main character, and he's the badass of the story, so it makes me like the show.
Yeah, I can see that. But I get like adventure guild style. I mean, isn't wrong. Is gonna be my absolute fucking favorite. Like adventure guild anime. That's the thing that got me into it. But again, you consider that isekai because it's another world. I don't. But I can agree that like it is definitely probably one of the best, if not the best, adventure animes that have ever been written. So I mean, because especially because it's not a one seasoner. So.
You said it's not a one seasoner?
Because it's not a one seasoner. Yeah, no. I honestly thought. Yeah, I honestly thought when it first came out, it was going to be a one seasoner, and I was going to be pissed because the first season was pretty fucking great.
Yeah, I watched the first season before the second season came out as well, and I was like, "Wow, this is good. They're going to make a second season, right?"
Nope.
But are you going to finish I'm a Spider? You got to finish I'm a Spider.
I gotta rewatch it. Obviously, I don't remember shit that happened. The only reason why I think I started falling in love with Reincarnated as a Slime is because Rimuru was able to go into human form and still like kick ass and shit like that. But the only issue I'm seeing with everybody or you and other people telling me about So I'm a Spider is that she just stays in spider form, and yeah, she evolves and shit, but like it doesn't seem. Does she go in human form?
Yeah.
So it's like
I'm not gonna ruin it for you, but she becomes a god, so she does receive a human form.
So it's kind of like reincarnated as a slime.
Yes, it is very much like reincarnated as a slime, where it's like it and it's not like it. Reincarnated as a slime, he has the slime form, and then of course he learns all these different abilities in just that slime form, and then he moves on to that human form. Well, he's able to transform into a human. Here, she moves to different forms, and then at the end of the whole evolution tree, she becomes a god and gets her human form. Like, you're going to see clips of her human form in the anime.
Have you not seen it yet?
Oh, I've seen it.
No, I mean, like, is it in the anime?
So, in the anime, you're going to see clips of her god form, but you're not going to watch her actually achieve it in the anime. That's going to be probably season 3 if they continue to adapt the light novel.
But I think I remember that, because I think I remember seeing a clip of, like, them fighting in, like, a wooded area, and then it goes back to her being a spider.
Yeah.
And then I talked to you about it, and you were like, "Oh yeah, that was her in her god form." And I was like, "Oh."
So that is an off-putting point of the show, where it kind of like flips back and forth, future, current, past, future, current, past, and it's like, wait, what? Who is that? What's going on? But I guess that's another way how they want to captivate the audience, because they're showing the OP, and they're like, "Wait, who is that? How are they doing that?" Like, so you want to get to that point, and then you start to get more clues.
I got you.
Oh, that's going to be her. Oh shit, I want to see her become that strong. So, and since they didn't get that far, I decided to read it.
I gotta see the pictures move. So I'll wait. I'll wait. Anyways, well, if any of y'all, please, I know Isekai is a big talking point, because there's a lot of people that don't like isekai animes. There's a lot of people, but there's some people. I think isekai is definitely you really love it or you really fucking hate it. I don't really think there's an in between. So please, I mean, come to our YouTube channel if you're watching this video on YouTube, which you should be. It's the only place it's going to be at. Please comment down below what your favorite isekai is. Comment why you don't like isekais. We'll bring it up next episode before we even start on whatever our topic is going to be next week. We will bring up your comment. Please make it as detailed as possible. We will bring it up.
More details, more shit we can talk. So
we will argue with you on every comment you put. But we really do want to hear your guys' opinion on isekais. on why you like it and why you don't like it, because there's we get that it's it's the same, but I digress either way. So we really appreciate you guys for stopping by again. Sorry, I know it's Tuesday, it's only it's 2 days. It's Sunday. Sorry, it is Sunday. Be sure to go check our Eminence and Shadow video. We do a review. We're going to be doing a review on Eminence and Shadow. We already did a review. Go check that one out. If you're thinking about not watching it, or you're like, I don't know if it's good or not, go check that one out. Give us a like, subscribe, leave a comment, leave some love. Go to our TikTok. We got a TikTok up. David's posting some clips of our show there. And then go over to our Instagram channel, the Otaku Octagon. You'll see our cool little Chidori, and Luffy punch. You'll see that over there. So we really appreciate everything, you guys. Keep up the love. We'll keep up our hard work.
One thing, though, when it comes to that TikTok, so this weekend we are going to be together. So we might do something special for the TikTok. Maybe we'll make a video, something more
personal. Or Fortnite dance.
We're not Fortnite dancing. But we can make something specific for the TikTok, so TikTok has its own exclusive videos as well. We might even hop on live. We have enough followers where we can actually go live too. We'll be together. You'll see. We'll figure it out.
We're gonna have an interesting background. We're gonna be by the fire, by the lake. It's gonna be sexy.
Yeah, he's gonna be trying to serenade me by the fire again, guys.
I'm gonna be singing songs.
Don't bring your guitars and stuff.
We're gonna be isekai this weekend to another world.
Cringe. Exactly. Good job.
We will see you there.
Peace.
Peace out, everybody.